amortize the structure.
The tracks.
The trucks are the real huge investments. But the trucks are like roads. Do we amortize the roads?
Correct.
We don't.
Yeah.
Because that will be there for 50 years, 75 years, 100 years. But they amortize it for 25 years, or I don't remember exactly. And therefore, it's going to be expensive.
Okay, we're going to have to take a short break, Herman. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll bring in another guest, and we'll continue within 100 days and see exactly what we can expect out of this. Stay with us. Hello, my name is Herman. We're back. We were supposed to bring in Frank Grego to be our third guest. He apparently can't make it some reason or another. So we're going to continue with Herman and I. We have Herman to Laurel, and we're going to continue with the same issues right before our break. Herman, I interrupted you when you're talking about the MRT. Very quickly, you can summarize that.
Well, basically, they want to remove the subsidy. They've been preparing people's minds for a raise in the fares. And my point there is, why punish the commuters and complain about subsidy for the commuters when the so-called investors already got their subsidies? Because they were guaranteed profits. Kumita na sila.
But ang MRT kasi, maybe the issues hindi nila sa presidente yan. Alam mo, ang information kasi can be quite dangerous. It depends how this is presented. Those who have specific interests can present specific information in a different way, depending on what outcome they want. That's what I was saying in when we were opening the show. Issues like the MRT, we see it in a different form, maybe because we have no bias. We look at possibly, or I'm sure we look at for the people. But then again, if those are presented to the president, kanyari mga negosyante, may mga interest yan, syempre, palalabasin mo, pagkapipresenta mo, baliktad. Which is why it's dangerous to be the sitting president and not see the many different points of views. Now, in one of your articles, I'd like to go forward again, fast forward a bit. You were saying that the interest of this present president, this administration, is slowly but surely getting on the side of big business and industrialists. It set me back when I was reading it. And then you continued to say, which is why, as we see when he went to the States, even big business that followed him. Right. But let's see, when Gloria, every time she traveled to the States, and so did Ramos or anywhere else, lahat ng mga negosyante naman talaga sumasama eh. Alam natin yun, kasi mga negosyante yung counterparts para yung private part okay, and then government side okay. Government is there basically for the people, not necessarily to generate an income, but to serve the people, if anything, to spend. Baliktad. Private is there to generate employment, supposed to be, because after all, job creation is where we're at, supposed to be in this time and place right now in the world, diba? So, you were saying that industrialists and businessmen, they're getting more favors. Why? How did you come to that conclusion?
This is not new, and this is a continuation of the Aquino policy, which is summed up by the admission of Joey Salceda when Makati Business Club was criticizing Gloria already towards the election campaign. Joey Salceda, the economic czar of Gloria, protested and said, "You never had it so good. Big business never had it so good," and said,
your figures, your statistics in the last 9 years.
3 trillion
kinita ng mga private business.
3 trillion pesos. That's 300 billion a year. Now, Aquino comes in. Aquino III comes in. And what were the first things he announced? One, the NFA will be deprived of its funding. Because they say they say it has been very corrupt and so on. That's
no, may 180 billion yan. Remember, kasama yan sa SONA. Di ba expose yan sa SONA, pinalalabas na sumobra naman ang dami ng bigas, but only a month later to take it back. Dito Banayaw takes it back and says,
to import again.
We're going to import again. And worse, pag tinanggal mo yung subsidy ng NFA, kawawa yung mga farmers, the farmers will be at the mercy naman of businessmen.
Of middlemen.
Of middlemen, mga merchants. And sila mananalo. Bababa naman ang production natin. We'll end up importing more and more.
Precisely. Okay. So, in fact, there has been no allocation made for NFA. That was...
None. None for this budget.
Maybe they'll negotiate it and work it out. I don't know. But that is a very clear withdrawal of support for the
Subsidy
poorest
to the
sector,
poor, yeah.
poorest sector of our society, the farmers.
But the
rice
NFA
farmers.
was imbued with corruption. That's the problem. The handling, the implementation, the distribution, even the warehousing and whatnot was imbued with a lot of corruption. If I'm not mistaken, that was the intention of the president. Bring it into the SONA, making that part of the scandalous blowout.
Well, the NFA itself, like many institutions, would have some corruption there. To what extent, they still haven't shown us. Because when Lito Banayo said, there is so much and there's overflowing and most of it is rotting rice.
Yes.
When the media cameras went to the warehouses, they were not rotting. They were there. They were very well cared for. So we have to distinguish between the new administration trying to make a dramatic entry at the expense
of the past
institutions.
of the institution.
Of the institutions. But you notice, so no subsidy for MRT if they can help it, no? For MRT riders, no subsidy for rice farmers. But what do they do with business? The public-private partnership projects. It started with 15 billion bonds. That means the public will be borrowing to fund the public-private partnership projects. In what kind of projects? Again, it's electricity, water,
big
infrastructure, tollways, airports, and so on. This is no different from the funding, independent power producers of the past. Ramos time up to Gloria Arroyo's time, yung IMSA, if you remember.
IMSA.
Okay.
Pero meron yun kasi may problema talaga tayo sa kuryente nun eh. There was an immediate need. The immediate solution cost more money. But it needed some type of quick action. Remember, during Cory's time, talagang we went into blackouts.
Yeah, but all these require rooting the issue in history. Why did we have the blackouts during late part of Cory's time and early Ramos? Because they closed down the Bataan nuclear power
which was
plant.
supposed to be the solution,
That's right.
a stopgap measure at the time.
That was already part of the program for the energy requirement of the country.
Part of the program.
Bataan nuclear power plant is not the only one. They delayed, in fact, they canceled 3 hydroelectric power plants. I'm not sure I can recall all of the names now. This is, and then natigil yung sa norte, yung mga issues nila Balweg doon. I forget. Pantabangan ba? Is that right?
Pantabangan.
Anyway,
going forward. So now, what do you think? You think the information coming to the president, or is he personally biased, you think, towards big business, or he's getting the wrong information?
Well, so we have established that he is giving 15 billion pesos, which 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it becomes 145 billion pesos. For the public-private business projects, and then there were several news items saying that by 2013, that's going to go up to around 750 billion peso
public-private projects
with the public funding at 750 billion. Now, if you're a private contractor and you get public funding, what do you get with that? Sovereign guarantee. That is like telling everyone, look, the taxpayer will guarantee whatever he does. So you go to the bank, you raise another half, and then you do the project. And then you have sovereign guarantee.
Sigurado ka?
Sigurado. Walang ano yan. It's like all the MRT projects and all the other projects we've had.
Is the current administration, our new president, do you think he has the savvy, the competence to understand, to be able to identify all the different points of views as it's being presented? Ang problema nito, kung isa na lang pipresenta at may specific interest, patay na tayo.
Well, as a leader of a nation and as President of the Republic, he should base his actions all on the Constitution. The Constitution states very clearly that his responsibility is to the general welfare, to the public good. The private sector and big business is part of that public. But don't forget,
they're not the only ones.
They're
the minority. It's not the majority.
They're the minority, and they're not the ones who need real great help. It is our people that are getting poorer and the middle class now. And all the economic surveys on poverty show that the middle class is shrinking and the poor is growing.
His presentation is otherwise, as you well know, especially now that he's gone to the States and he's talked to a number of big business. It seems he enjoys the confidence of the World Bank president. Well, he's learned to talk. You have to admit, public speaking by Noynoy has
Well, he's
improved
a-
dramatically
yes,
from
he's-
him being a senator.
Yes, yes, yes.